Hello everybody, I'm Blazer Rebecca and welcome back to A Little Lily Princess. And, hold on. I did not get a chance to read what was going on there. As she turned the pages, she became aware of the faint musical sound somewhere in the room. Marette was humming to herself. I wonder if she realizes she was doing that. Distracted from her reading, Sarah listened for a while, trying to follow the thread of the tune. Miss Minchin's select seminary is aimed to create well-rounded young ladies, but Miss Minchin herself did not place so much emphasis on music, and singing masters visited only frequently. On the streets of London, one might see performers of various sorts. Fiddlers, organ grinders, sometimes even singers, although the same noise made it difficult for such to be heard. These street musicians, however, were commonly found in parts of London through which a refined young lady passed through quickly and did not linger. Here, tempted by the possibility of a new source of music, Sarah asked, "What are you humming?" "Ah, pardon-moi, mademoiselle." "No, you don't need to stop. It sounds pretty. I was hoping that you knew the song and you could sing it to me. I am not certain that I can remember all the words, but I will try." In a breathy voice, Marette began to sing what must have been a child's nonsense song about a beautiful lady who was in fact a beautiful slice of bread, living in a palace of butter? The lyrics were, of course, all in French, and one or two words referred to things Sarah was unfamiliar with, like croque-nez, but she assumed they were another kind of pastry. Perhaps I should have Marette buy some for us if she can find them in London. There are likely to be more French bakeries here than in India. Marette's voice trailed off amidst a pile of confections. Well, you see how it is, yes? I am sorry, it is not a proper song. I think it's a darling little song. Where did you learn it? Oh, nowhere important. Must be a common song in France. I wonder if it is something that my mother knew when she was a little girl. You look sad, mademoiselle. Was my singing so terrible? No, not at all. It was very sweet of you to sing to me. I was thinking about my mother. I'm sorry, I did not mean to stir up painful memories. But I don't remember her. Not at all. That's what I was thinking about. It seemed like a serious subject, and so Sarah rose from her chair and stood with her hands clasped behind her as if she were giving a recitation. I never knew my mother, so I cannot miss her. I do not know what having a mother is like. My father picked you from because you are kind and French, as she was. So I wondered for a moment if he meant for you to be a kind of a mother to me, as I am Mama to Lottie. I could pretend it was so if it pleased you, or if it pleased my papa, but it does not seem right somehow. You are not my mother, you are Marette, and that is something all its own. Marette covered her smile with her hand. You are filled with thoughts, ma petite princess. You do not need to worry. You do not wish to be your mother. Sarah nodded quite seriously. That is good. I would not wish to disappoint her. I'm sure she comes out from heaven sometimes to watch over me. It might make her sad if she thought she had been replaced, especially when I cannot see her or speak with her to explain. Would you like to see her? What? But how? Come here. Marette drew Sarah close in front of her. Close your eyes. Blind, Sarah allowed herself to be guided by Marette's hands. She was not afraid. She knew Marette would take care of her. Now turn and look. Sarah opened her eyes to be faced with a full-length mirror that always stood in her room. There is your mother. Do you see? Your mother, your father, they made you. They are always inside you. She stared at her reflection for a moment and smiled. Marette, I believe you are filled with thoughts too. And we are a pair. New week. The weather was warm and fine, and the skies of London unusually clear. As such, Miss Minchin had decided that the proper Sunday outing for her girls was a long walk through parks and gardens. Keep up together. Ooh, I like this. GB. A lady's health is also an important accomplishment. Yes, but poor Jessie and Lavinia, they're sweating. We're all sweating, but they're sweating the most. While the temperature outside was not so great in itself, the ceaseless beating of sunlight upon the little heads slowly made their Sunday dresses a difficult burden to wear. This is abominable. My complexion will be ruined. I may have to write to my father and complain. She adjusts the position of the parasol on her shoulder and sighed. No proper young lady should be forced to drudge about on foot like this. Is that not why we have horses? Miss Minchin said the horses should have a day of rest on Sundays. As if a horse would know or care what day it is. I deserve a carriage. It is the due of my rank. Lavinia was not the only girl complaining about the walk. Sarah, Mama, I'm tired. Everyone's tired, I think. Sarah, Mama, won't you carry me? You have to walk by yourself. You're too big for me to carry for long. Besides, it would be undignified. Our Sarah may be many things, but she is not a horse. Perhaps you should just Ermengarde. Oh, leave her alone. Lavinia! What did I say? I was only pointing out that she needs to be handling this walk better than Lottie is. True. But Sarah looked at her friend. True enough, through Ermengarde's cheeks were flushed as anyone else's, she appeared to be walking steadily along without slowing or complaining. Aren't you tired and hot? Yes. I always feel tired and hot when we walk back from church, so I'm used to it. But this walk is so much longer. It all seems the same to me. Guard has great endurance. It is a virtue. A soldier must have great endurance and be able to carry on through much more difficult circumstances than this. A soldier might have to walk miles in the sun in a uniform and carry a heavy pack besides, and be ready to fight when he arrived. Our lives are so much easier, but we must be good soldiers as best as we can. If Guard can bear it, then I can bear it. If Jessie can bear it, then I shall have to bear it. What's that supposed to mean? What did you mean? Nothing. I don't want to bear it. I want someone to carry me. You have legs. Use them the same as we are. I don't want to. No one's gonna carry you, so if you don't walk, you'll be left here all alone. And then it will get dark, and the tigers will come and eat you up. Jessie, don't scare her. There aren't any tigers in London. You ought to make things up like that. Well, she likes it when Sarah makes things up. Yeah, but tigers are a bit overboard. Sarah spoke quickly to head off the threat of Lottie deciding to cry and fuss. You will all have tea later in my rooms, and I will tell you stories. But first we must return to school, which means we must walk. Lottie sighed and carried on. As they practice dance this day, tea party on this day, playing toys on this day, and tutoring on that day, and tea party on that day. Visiting, dancing, playing, tutoring, visiting. So much sympathy. The sympathy's real. The greatest power Sarah possessed was her power of telling stories and making everything she talked about seem like a story, whether it was one or not. It was that power which Lavinia and certain other girls were most envious of, and at the same time most fascinated by it in spite of themselves. And it was in service of that power that so many Miss Minchin students had gathered in Sarah's jewel box rooms, sitting themselves on chairs or cushions or rugs to listen. The princess sat on the white rocks beside the lagoon, with a shining white lily in her hands. And as she turned it this way and that, she watched its reflection dance across the water below. The waters of the lagoon lay still, crystal clear and green as glass, but the princess could only see her flower in the reflection, and never herself. So she looked, and she looked, until at last she saw a face in the waters. Not her face, but the face of a merman. Sarah went on to tell the courtship between the princess and the merman prince, and the girls who listened sighed sweetly and leaned their cheeks against their hand or each other. As they listened, the door of the room swung slightly open, and the same dirty figure Sarah had glimpsed before crept into the room carrying a heavy coal box. Oh, hey! The maid was cleaner than she had been on that other day, but seemed just as frightened. She hunched by the fire, afraid to even look at the other children or appear to be listening. She put on pieces of coal cautiously with her fingers so that she might make no disturbing noise, and she swept about the fire iron very softly. But Sarah saw that she was doing her work and slowly in the hope of catching a word here and there, and realizing this, she raised her voice and spoke more clearly. The princess took her seat in the great clear bubble carriage, and a team of 6 seahorses pulled her into the ocean, their harnesses woven with pearls. Down to the sea they dove. At first the water grew dark and the princess was afraid. But then, far below, fluttering and rippling through the depths, there shone a light. The small dredge before the grade swept the hearth once, and then swept it again, and finally forgot to play its sweeping at all. The brush hung idly from her fingers as Sarah described the winding grottos beneath the sea, paved with silver sand and lit by glowing sea stars. It was the choirs of mermaids singing that proved her undoing. The forgotten brush slipped from her fingers to clatter against the hearth, and drew Lavinia's attention. What? That girl has been listening! The culprit snatched up her brush and scrambled to her feet. She grabbed the whole box and simply scuttled out of the room like a frightened insect fleeing for cover. I knew she was listening. Why shouldn't she? She isn't one of us, Sarah. It isn't proper to talk with servants. Unless they are upper servants like your mayoress, that's all right. I wasn't talking with her. I was telling a story. I do not know whether your papa would like you to tell stories to servant girls, but I know my papa wouldn't like me to do it. Well, then your father's a prick. My papa! I don't believe he would mind in the least. He knows his stories belong to everybody. Nothing belongs to everybody. If it did, they'd all have to fight over it. You know what? Screw it. Screw your story. Only Guard took Sarah's side. I think Sarah should tell stories to whomever she wants to tell them. You wouldn't think it wrong if she told stories to Bolt, would you? I think it would be rather odd if she were telling stories to a cat. Oh, please, Sarah Mama, finish the story. Sure, but before that, Lavinia, can you leave? Sarah looked at the room full of eager, upturned faces. No one wished to follow and harass the fleeing maid, but no one wished to go and invite her back again either. She would continue her fairy story, but she would not forget. Okay, this one says last chance, so let's do it. Our guard sat contentedly on the floor of Sarah's room, listening to her read from one of her storybooks. And then he offered to take her away to his father's court, where he would make her his bride. The maiden adored the prince, whose company had charmed her for so many hours, but she could not bear to have to leave her sisters without first telling them farewell. She bade the prince leave and return again the next day to the place in the woods where they had met. Sarah did not read the words exactly as they were written, but her own little touches upon the story to make it turn out the way that she preferred. It was not quite the same as telling her own stories, but Guard still seemed nervous at the idea of stories that had not come from books at all. It was a first step, and I'm going to end this part here, but I will see you in the next part. See ya!